All right, our next video in the jQuery Rehab series is all about event listeners. So how do we handle events? And these are user events like click and mouse over and mouse out, but they can also include other types of events like keyboard events, image loading, page loading events. What I've got here is a page that's running with jQuery right now, and we're going to fix that. We're going to turn it over into vanilla JavaScript. So as I mouse over each one of the paragraphs, what I'm getting is it's changing the background color to gold, and it's making a comment over here saying that it's gold. And when I mouse out, it puts it back to transparent, and it works on both of these paragraphs. And when I click on the first paragraph, I get an alert message saying that I clicked on it. So every time I click on that first paragraph, that's what I get. Okay, let's take a look at the script. So we have our main element with the two paragraphs inside with the classes first and second. And in our script, what we're doing with jQuery is we're waiting for the ready event, meaning we've got our script, our styles, and our HTML is loaded. Then we're going to run this function when the ready event happens. I'm going to find the paragraph that has the class first, and with the click method for jQuery, it means this function right here is going to run when you click on that first paragraph and we get that message. So that was the click, you saw the alert message. For the mouse over and mouse out, I'm saying here, find all the paragraphs, and we're going to add some sort of event using on. Now we could have done that up here as well. We could have said .on and then put click inside of here as the first parameter being passed into the click method. So I'm just showing both ways of doing it. There are built-in methods for a whole bunch of the events like click, mouse over, mouse out, hover, things like that. You can also express them this way with on, and then you put the string representing what the event is. So mouse over, mouse out, when those happen to all the paragraphs, we're going to call this function where we change the background color to gold. We write out the word gold, and then on mouse out, we use the CSS method with here the keyword this inside of the parentheses for the $sign method. So it's going to, basically what it's doing is it's taking all the paragraphs, it's looping through them, and it's adding this listener onto it. And the function gets called when any paragraph is moused over. Inside this function, if we use $sign this, what we're referring to is the paragraph specifically that was moused over. So the paragraph that was moused over, we're calling the CSS method on that paragraph and setting its background to gold. And then we do the same thing for the mouse out. So when I mouse over this one, this is the one that gets gold. When I mouse over this, this is the one that gets gold. Okay, so fairly standard stuff. I'm going to temporarily comment all of this out. So nothing happens on our page now. When I mouse over, when I click, nothing's happening there. All right, let's do this with vanilla JavaScript. So DOM content loaded. We wait for the initial load of the HTML, the CSS. That's done. Now I want to add a click listener onto that first paragraph. So document query selector. I'm going to find the one with the class first. That gives me that one paragraph because I use the method query selector. We've got one paragraph selected, and the standard vanilla JavaScript way of adding any listener is add event listener. That's what it is. What's the event? Click. And then we're going to have a function that runs, and you can use the standard old ES5 version of functions, or if you want, you can turn this into the ES6 version. If you want to use the keyword this, then you need to use the old functions. You can't use an arrow function and then use the word this inside of here. Now, I'm going to put the variable EV in here. This is just a variable name. It is going to receive the click event. So inside of here, I can say this. And if I do that, what I'm pointing to is the click, the thing that was clicked, which is our first paragraph. Whatever goes in front of add event listener, that's what this is going to represent. So we could do this dot, change its ID, change its style property on it. Style.color equals purple. If I did that, then when I click on this first one, there, that changed the text to purple. I don't know how well you can see that, but it did change the text to purple. The alternative way of doing that is ev.currentTarget And then you can say style.color, and let's make it gold just to do something different. When I click on this, there we go, it turned gold. So these are the two different ways. You can use the keyword this to represent whatever came in front of add event listener, or this EV parameter that got passed in, that's the event being passed in, the click event. And we can say the click event has a property called current target. That's the thing that was just clicked. So the first paragraph, setting its color to gold. Now, just to make this script like the other one, we're going to do an alert in here, and we'll say vanilla JavaScript click. Okay, now it's going to behave the same way as the other one. There we go, vanilla JavaScript click. Okay, that works. Now, for adding the mouse overs, here we had the mouse over and the mouse out. There were two different parts to it, one for mouse over, one for mouse out. In front of each one, we did find all the paragraphs with the on method. Vanilla JavaScript, we're going to do something similar, but we're going to find all the paragraphs, and then we're going to loop through them. Inside of our loop, we're going to add the listener for mouse over and mouse out. So instead of it being two separate things, it's going to be sort of combined a little bit. So let's take a look at that. Document, query selector all, because we want to find a list of things, a node list. I want to find all the paragraphs. Now I'm going to loop through all the paragraphs. And for each one of those paragraphs, we're going to call a function, just like this. And inside that function, the for each method is going to pass us the item itself, so a paragraph. And if you wanted, you could also pass in a number. So if you wanted the index number, you can also get that. We don't need it, we're not going to use it, but it's there if you want it. So P, this variable is going to represent each one of the paragraphs as we loop through them. So the first paragraph, we're going to say add event listener, because that's how you add listeners with vanilla JavaScript. And I'm going to do this a second time. The first time is going to be with mouse over, and the second one is going to be mouse out. Both of them are going to have a function. So these two lines of code are going to look the exact same, with the exception of the name of the event. And then again, we're going to put the EV in here and in here, so that we could use that as EV current target style.background color equals, let's go to sky blue. Try that one on. So current target style.background color, and we're going to set it to transparent. And we'll put a console log in here as well, just so we can see that it is changing it to sky blue. Okay, and now this right here is the equivalent of what we were doing in jQuery. So we have the mouse over, going back and forth between these two. You can see the sky blue showing up here as we go back and forth. And when we click on the first one, we get that alert. All right. Now I'll uncomment this just so we see them both running at the same time. Save that. Now, we're only seeing the gold here, and that is, if you look in the comments, you'll see that the blue happens first and then the gold. The blue and then the gold. The blue and the gold. So it is doing both things. It's just that it's doing the jQuery one second. It's doing it afterwards. So it's setting it to blue and then gold immediately after. Blue, then gold, blue, then gold. So it always ends up being gold, just because the DOM content loaded runs before the ready does. And because DOM content loaded first, it means that these event listeners get added first. So this code runs first and then this code. And because of that, these ones are running first. This color is being set first, and then afterwards, this one is being added. Okay, and that's it. That is the old jQuery way of doing it, and this is the vanilla JavaScript way of doing this without having to load that jQuery library. So I hope that you start using this approach. Start adding your event listeners with add event listener instead of the on or the click or the other things that jQuery does. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. I will leave a copy of this code as a code gist in the description for you. And as always, thanks for watching.